Hi, everyone. My name is Tina. I'm the founder of Simple Steps Fertility, and today we're going to be speaking to Liliana, a four-time surrogate. So excited that you're here, Liliana. Thank you so much. So, just to kind of jump right in, if you want to, introduce yourself, tell us a little about yourself, about your family, and then we can get going from there.
Okay, my name is Liliana. Been this will be my fourth journey going through this. I've had great experiences. They've all been very different, and my family is all very supportive. I mean, it took some time, but they're all very supportive now, knowing how the process goes. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward for this journey to continue.
Oh, wonderful. So let's start from the very beginning. How did you decide to be a surrogate? What inspired you to be a surrogate?
To be honest, I didn't really know much about it in the beginning. We found out because my husband has a family friend that went through surrogacy to have his children, and I mean his children look identical to him and his wife. So I got curious. I mean, I was young, so I was like, "Well, how does it work?" Went through so much information. I literally took about maybe a year and a half to officially decide, okay, this is what I'm going to try to do. I mean, I want to see how it works. And it's been the best thing that I could have ever done.
Wonderful. It sounds like it. So, how did the conversation go with your husband? It seems like when you decided, this was something you decided together, or how did you approach it with him when you initially decided this is something you wanted to pursue?
I think after speaking with his family friend, we were talking about it and we were both really interested. And then I told him, like, what if I did that? And he's like, well, like, how would that work? Like, what would you have to go through? And we started like looking into it. He was a little kind of skeptical about like how the whole situation would be and how my kids were young, so at the time they really didn't understand much about it. So it was more like, okay, like what was the process? And he did research as well as I did. He wanted to know what went through it, and yeah, I mean, I think the fact that he was very supportive on everything that I do, that really did help a lot. And knowing that he was looking into it, not just me. So he was every question that he had, he would Google like, okay, how does this work? So that helped too. But yeah, I mean, he's been very supportive since the beginning.
That's wonderful. Do you now looking back, what do you think would have helped him? What can like the agency do? Do you think like having a mutual call together would be helpful? It seems like it made him more comfortable after getting more information.
Yeah, actually, when I did have the call with my IPs, he was actually there, and he's usually there listening in because he's curious too. So and he'll kind of always like to also to get to know them because he is not just me going through it; it's him too. And it does help him being in the conversation sometimes. I mean, he's not involved with everything, but I think it's a good communication to have with them. Like any questions that he has too, like, okay, well, what are their intentions and what's gonna happen? How is this gonna go for me? And not just to him. He's worried about me. His main concern has always been, okay, how do I feel about it? So that's good.
That's wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's important to provide some information to the partner
Mhm.
about the intended parents, about the process, about, what are some of the positive things, what to look out for. I think makes it easier for them to kind of
Yeah,
accept this because ultimately they do want you healthy. They want you to be there for their children, of course, your own
yeah,
children. Yeah, that's a really important part of all of this. And I think that's wonderful that he did some of his own research. So
yeah.
that's great. So let's just jump right in. How was your first, like when you were, getting ready for your first surrogacy cycle? What are some of the things that you were kind of thinking, and what were some of the difficult, like, were you nervous and scared? How did you feel about starting your first journey?
I was very nervous. I was kind of scared too because I mean, I didn't know what to really expect. Like the whole process, but they made it very easy. Like it was very simple. There was always had my case manager asking me, "Hey, how you feeling? How you doing today?" Always checking up on me. And I think when speaking to the IPs, they were international. They were from China,
Mm-hmm.
and so the language barrier was pretty hard, like to communicate. My case manager was trying to figure out how to talk with them and everything. Yes, so cause I didn't meet my intended parents until the baby was born,
Mm.
so the communication was always online,
Yeah.
and it was very different. I mean, it was a really different journey to start with. I think that's the thing, because I did all my appointments by myself. My husband came with me to a couple of them, but it was mostly on my own. So it was a little weird, but I think I enjoyed it for my first time to figure out, okay, how I'm feeling about it.
Mm.
Because I think if I would have had my APs for my first journey, I would have kind of been a little weirded out in the beginning.
Yeah. So your first journey was with the international couple, and then what about your second journey? What did
It
you do
was,
differently?
my second one was also international. And the scary part was that it was during COVID when
Mm.
it first started. So we all started going through lockdowns, and I was a little scared because they weren't able to come down, and our communication, they spoke a little bit of English, so we had a little more communication over the phone and everything. They made me feel very comfortable. They didn't want me going out. They were scared too, so they would order groceries for me all the time. They would say, "Hey, can you send me a list, and I'll make sure we'll get you everything that you need." I would send them like just the basics that I didn't want them to go out of their way of ordering certain things, and they would always send me over the top. So they were always making sure I was taken care of. And I think
Mhm.
this is the best part about working with agencies, that they're making sure too that I'm taken care of, that I'm not having to do anything in my part, just worry about myself and the baby. So that has always been the best thing I think I would recommend, is just making sure you pick the right agencies, because you got to make sure you're being taken care of.
Yeah, I really agree. I think there's so much stuff that goes into a surrogacy cycle, and to get rid of some of that noise where the agency can take care of things like
Hmm.
legal contracts, somebody who's checking in on you, somebody who's kind of helping you make appointments, somebody who is there for the embryo transfer, someone who's there with you for the birth. I think those things really help make the journey a lot easier. So you can just kind of focus on yourself, your medication you're taking.
Yeah, there's already so much going on. I think the best part is just having to worry about what I need to do, and that's it. And then the agency takes care of the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Those are, really important things for surrogates to know, because sometimes surrogates are, just looking for the best base compensation,
Hmm.
because that's a really important part of this process,
Yeah,
because you should be compensated for your efforts, and, you're doing heroes work. But it's really important to kind of do a little bit research and make
yeah.
sure you get the support that you need. So thank you for mentioning that. That's really important. So for your third and fourth journey, how did that go? What was different for those journeys?
So the third one, the parents were close
Domestic.
by, so yeah, so they actually were able to come to a lot of my appointments. We spoke a lot. We still keep in contact. They've sent me pictures of the babies, because I had twins on my third one, and it's been great. Like, I think that was a very different experience from my first two. Having that communication. I mean, obviously they spoke English perfectly well, so the communication, they were able to meet my kids, and we were actually able to meet in person.
Yeah.
So I think that alone was really special. And for this fourth journey, I'm still going through with it. I haven't gotten my transfer yet. I will be getting it, hopefully, if everything goes well, by the end of this month. So so far it's been good. I Speaking with the IPs, they were great. I mean, I hopefully I can do this for them. I really hoping it goes through well. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've been so wonderful. You've changed so many lives, and especially with the domestic couple, because we were able to see them in person for
yeah,
some of their appointments, and just watching them watch their baby on the ultrasound. It's such a touching moment. How was it having twins? How was that experience?
it was very different. I felt very heavy. Very out of breath, but it was wonderful. Like, knowing, knowing that it was gonna bring them like a full, that this is what they wanted. So knowing that I could do that for them, and then being able to have the mom there, like, as soon as I wanted her to be as much part of it as the pregnancy as possible. So as soon as the baby was, I wanted her to be in the delivery room. Like I wanted her to be able to get them as soon as they were out. And it was nice because the whole time it was a C-section, so the whole time that I'm there, she was trying to make sure I was okay. I'm like, no, it's okay. Go with your babies. But she was wonderful. So I think that made it very special for me too. Like knowing that she didn't just see me as, carrying her baby. She was actually caring for me too. So that was really nice.
Yeah, that's very, very nice and important. When you're picking intended parents, looking for these things, like thinking about, should I pick an international couple or a domestic couple? It just kind of preference. And,
Yeah.
there are some surrogates that really love seeing families and keeping in touch and seeing them in person. And then there's surrogates that are a little bit shyer and they just want to, have limited conversation only because, they don't really know what to say. And
Yeah.
so it's just a personality issue as well. So I'm glad you had the opportunity to experience both because even though they might have had a language barrier, you definitely still changed their life. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes, because
especially during COVID, that must have been so stressful.
yeah, they was very. I was stressed out because once I had the babies, they still had to wait almost a month to be able to have their baby, and once they were reunited with their baby, they sent me pictures. They said they were so happy. Like it was crazy because even though like I said, the language barrier was, they would not stop saying thank you. Like they
That's
were super grateful.
Yeah, of course, of course. You're doing something so special, so, so special. So I kind of want to talk about the process. So there's lots of, surrogates who really don't know what to expect. And how do you feel going to a medical screening? How does that feel? What do you do at a medical screening? What advice would you have for a surrogate who's going to go to a medical screening?
I mean, the medical screening is just to make sure that your body will be ready to hold the baby safely, and you're going to be safe about it too. Not just, I mean, you're not just a host. You're literally like making sure you're going to be okay. And I think that's
Right.
the most important part. There, you always have to be 100% before going into it, because your body, you don't know what your body can handle, and that's why all these appointments are very important to make sure you're going to be okay through the process. Because it is, I mean, going through pregnancy overall, even your own, it's stressful. I mean, you're carrying another human being in you, and that alone, it puts a lot. So
Yeah.
you're sure you're healthy. So the medical screenings, they're always very important. I think the doctors always make sure they check everything. And I think that's the best part.
I agree. I agree. I think what you said is really important. I think that what surrogate mothers really have to understand as they're getting ready for this journey is that part of the medical screening is not just to pass for the intended parents, it's to
Hmm.
pass for yourself and your family. You
Exactly.
want to make sure that you're going to be able to do this without risking your life, without risking your health, and this is going to be a safe, this is something elective you're doing. You're doing this to, do something special for yourself and for another family, but you want to make sure you're going to be healthy and happy after the surrogacy to be there for your own kids, right? So,
Yeah.
absolutely, you're completely right that the medical screening is not just for the intended parents, it's also for you to make sure you're going to be okay during the journey. Wonderful. A part of, I really want to have difficult conversations too with surrogates because, of course, it's a wonderful thing, a beautiful thing. It's heroes' work that surrogates do. And most of the time, everything goes smooth, especially when you're working with an agency that has experienced case managers, supportive staff, and they know they know how to help you. They know what to look out for. They know how to, help you when you're, having difficulties. But I really want us to have a candid conversation about, when you were a surrogate, were there moments that were difficult and how did you feel and how did you overcome that? And how did your agency help you through that?
I think the difficult moments were when I was during the pregnancy. I think when I was feeling really like I was getting really nauseous. I was feeling really sick, and the agency was trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to make you feel better? What are remedies to do? So we tried. The agency helped me find every single way to try to reduce my nausea, reduce my tiredness. I mean, they go out of their way to figure out what remedies they we can use, and I think that's the best part because it's not just me looking up things; it's them actually doing something about it. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember with your third journey, we had some difficulty with your insurance.
Yeah,
uh, that was a little bit scary because we don't want anybody to go through an issue with insurance, but it can happen. But of course, everything is taken care of. Worst
yeah.
case scenario, everything would be compensated for. But during that time, to have somebody on your side to help you make those difficult phone calls, so how was that? How did the agency help you through that?
I mean, it was wonderful. I mean, you did everything you could to make sure I was not stressed out because I know it was hard. I mean, the agency was trying, but I think you overall did the most, and I'm very grateful for that because I mean, I wouldn't even know where to look or where to start and what to do. So it was great to have you on that side and trying to do your best to do everything. And you managed to get everything on, like you were on it. So I think that was the best part of it.
I know. I mean, I remember we had to, drive from San Diego to LA for
Yeah.
a specialist consultation, and the intended parents met us, and, it's just kind of problem solving in difficult moments. And the most important thing is that everything was fine and you did well and you're under good care and everything was okay. So those are the things that I really want other surrogates to know, is that, having an agency who kind of has the knowledge of how to problem
Mhm.
solve and help get through difficult situations, because some things might, come up, but most of the time everything is smooth.
Yeah.
So that's really an important, category when you're trying to figure out what agency to join. Those are things to definitely be looking for. What kind of support they have, what kind of experience they have. How are, you want someone to kind of be with you along the journey.
Yes. That's very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you're getting ready for your fourth journey, and what are some things you're doing differently? How are you preparing? Is it sort of the same as a experienced surrogate, just to kind of about the medications,
Yeah.
about that wonderful progesterone injection, but is there anything you're doing different to kind of prepare for this last journey?
No, I mean, I think the conversation with my kids this time, that's, I think, the only thing that changed because they are older. So they understand more what's going on. So I think that was the only thing. Like they're just worried, like, okay, are you gonna be okay? Like, are you gonna be able to still be here and do
Take.
everything with us? I mean, I'm very involved with my kids, so that's something that they want to make sure I'm still able to be doing. I'm like, well, yeah, I think I'll be able to do it a lot more. And then when I was my last journey, my kids really took care of me because I was really tired with the twins, obviously towards the end.
Mhm.
Being two human beings is very exhausting. So my kids were able to help around cleaning and doing everything they could for me. So I think that's always been a great support from them. And I just want to make sure I'm gonna be okay. Like, did you get checked? Are you okay? Are you sure you're gonna be okay? So I think it's more of the worry, but overall, I don't think I've done anything different this time. I think I'm more relaxed because I know the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think that it would be easier the second or third time around since you are so familiar with the process.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give a mother who's contemplating on being a surrogate? What would be your recommendation to them?
I mean, it's a great experience. It gave me time to spend more time with my kids because I don't have to be working. I mean, obviously the compensation is really great, so I was able to be as involved as much as possible with my kids and give them these extra things. Because I mean, my husband he's good, so being able to have that extra to be like, oh, let's go do this, or let's go. My kids love eating out. Like they like not eating out, mostly trying new foods.
Yeah, yeah.
So being able to be like, hey, let's go do this, and then they love me being at every sports event that they had. I mean, my
Yeah.
kids are very athletic. They love doing all kinds of different sports.
Hmm.
So being able to be there, I think that's a plus. And
Yeah.
doing surrogacy, I think that allows you to be there during those times.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very nice, nice point. You had to go through three embryo transfers and three medical screens. Are any of the procedures like, how is an embryo transfer? Do you feel like it's difficult? Is it painful? How would you describe an embryo transfer for someone who's never been through it?
It's not that bad. I mean, it's just I think the only issue that I had was that I really had to go pee right after. But that
I
was
think
it. I mean, I honestly, I think the first time it was a little different than the last two other times, and the first time I feel like it took longer because they were trying to make sure everything went smoothly, and I think that last two times I think the procedures change. Obviously, as time goes, things change, make it easier, and they were a lot faster. So I think um, they're not scary at all. I mean, they try to make him as painless and as quick as possible. So that
yeah.
I think that's the easiest way they can do it.
Yeah, you're right. How about the medication? How did that make you feel? Did you get really emotional or did you have any side effects?
I don't think I had any side effects with the medication overall. Um, I don't think I've heard of anybody else have any side effects. I mean, at least from the surrogates that I've talked to. But I mean, just the injections are the not the best part. But when you get through it, it's nothing. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Was your husband helping you with the injections?
He is very squirmish with needles, so he would just turn away. I mean, I was fine with doing my own injections, but I
Huh.
mean, I had someone that my mom or my grandma could come and do the injections, but I was fine doing it on my own. So
That's wonderful. It's really wonderful. The injections can be difficult, but
yeah,
you get through them. It's only for a short period of time, and then your body kicks in and understands that pregnancy is happening and it starts making its own hormones. So it's just that the beginning is when
yeah.
you have to take all those medications. So, yeah, wonderful. Well, that's so nice. You have such a beautiful story, Liliana. You've done so well and helped so many families. And I really wanted to thank you for coming and sharing your story with us today. And, your sons are so, so fun. And I'm so happy you got to spend more time with them. And I wish you all the luck in your last journey, I think. And, I hope that you have a really memorable one. And I have no doubt you were going to do amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
And
so much for having me. Well, speak about this. I mean, my last journey I thought was going to be my last one, but thankfully I was good and I'm able to help somebody else, and I'm very grateful about this.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you. Have a wonderful time with your kids and a beautiful summer. And I will see you very soon.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.